The evil in Wichita did not hide in the dark. It lived in a White House with a perfectly mowed lawn. Dennis Rader was the man who installed the very locks meant to keep the monsters outside. Beneath the mask of a devoted father, a predatory instinct pulsated with a dark, rhythmic hunger. He was the neighbor who waved in the morning while memorizing the time you left your front door. In January 1974, the safety of Kansas was shattered by a crime that defied human logic. The Otero family was bound and executed inside their sanctuary, which became a chamber of absolute horror. Rader cut the phone lines with precision, ensuring no scream would ever reach the outside world. He watched the life drain from their eyes, fueling an urge that would last for decades. The scene was not a robbery, but a calculated exhibition of control and sadistic dominance. Rader returned to his normal life, sitting at dinner with his family as if he hadn't erased another. Wichita fell into paranoia, unaware the killer was walking among them, wearing a badge of authority. He felt a thrill hearing the sirens, knowing he was the architect of the chaos gripping his neighbors. His narcissism demanded recognition that only the media and the police could provide to his ego. He left a letter in a library book, demanding the world address him by a specific, dark title. BTK was born. Bind, torture, kill, a brand of terror that would haunt the Midwest forever. He mocked investigators, calling them incompetent for failing to see the genius behind his projects. Catherine Brythe was the next to feel the touch of a man who saw humans as mere projections. He ambushed her at home, but the struggle proved that even meticulous plans can sometimes falter. Rader fled into the night, but the seed of his legend was already planted in a terrified city. He realized the hunt was as intoxicating as the kill, refining his methods for the years ahead. His job at ADT Security gave him a master key to the city's private lives and home vulnerabilities. He walked through bedrooms and checked latches, being paid to find the best ways to enter. The irony of his profession was a secret joke, a source of immense pride for his twisted mind. He kept detailed logs of his scouting missions, treating innocent lives like entries in a manual. In 1977, Shirley Vian was trapped while her children were locked in the bathroom. The sound of their crying was background noise as Rader focused on his complex binding ritual. He believed that by controlling a victim's breath, he asserted a godlike dominion over existence. When Finney said he walked into the sunlight, blending into the crowd like a drop in the ocean, Nancy Fox received a call from her killer before she saw his face, a game meant to increase fear. After he silenced her, he used a public phone to report his own crime to the authorities. He stood in the shadows as police arrived, enjoying the spectacle of flashing lights and panic. To Rader, Wichita was his personal stage, and every citizen was an actor in his tragic play. Inside the Christ Lutheran Church, he was a pillar of the community and a leader to his peers. He used the church basement to hide mementos, developing photos of his crimes in the house of God. The duality of his soul was an abyss. He could lead a prayer and then plan a strangulation. His family loved a ghost, a man who didn't exist outside of his daily, elaborate performance. He viewed his murders as engineering projects, analyzing each success with a cold, technical eye. He kept every newspaper clipping, underlining parts where the police expressed their deepest fears. Rader believed he was an elite predator, destined to be studied by historians for centuries to come. His arrogance was a shield, making him feel invisible, even when standing near those hunting him. Maureen Hedge lived doors away, never suspecting the beast was watching her through the fence. He took her life and used the church as a backdrop for post-mortem rituals and dark photography. He documented every moment, preserving the pain so he could relive it during his long, quiet spells. He was a man who lived in the past, feeding on memories of the lives stolen in the dark. Vicky Weggerl was the final victim of his first wave, leaving police with only unanswered questions. After her death, the BTK killer vanished, leading many to believe the monster had finally died. Rader entered hibernation, focusing on his role as a compliance officer and a Boy Scout leader. He spent days harassing neighbors over lawn height, using small power to satisfy his need for control. The years turned into decades, and BTK became a campfire story from Wichita's troubled past. But Rader could not let the world forget him. His vanity was more dangerous than any weapon. In 2004, a newspaper retrospective wondered if the killer was still alive today. The spark was lit, and the aging predator felt the itch to reclaim his place in the hierarchy of fear. He began a new game, sending packages to the media containing jewelry from his long-dead victims. He was desperate for the world to know the master was back, and his edge was still lethal. Police realized his greatest weakness was his vanity and played along with his demands to set a trap. They treated him like the genius he believed he was, while narrowing the circle around his identity.
Have you ever stopped to think that the videos you just watched with flawless scripts and engaging narrations might have been created by someone who never even touched a camera or a microphone? There is a new digital elite profiting heavily behind the scenes of YouTube and social media, building massive channels without ever showing their faces or spending thousands of dollars on equipment. While most people are frozen by the fear of being on camera, these individuals are using the hidden power of artificial intelligence to generate automated content that works and earns for them 24 hours a day. The secret to dominating this game isn't about having a famous face. It's about knowing how to command the right tools to create scripts, voices, and visuals that magnetically hold the audience's attention. I've gained access to a strategic method that reveals the exact roadmap for you to build your own invisible digital empire. Mastering AI to turn clicks into a real source of income. It is the perfect opportunity for those seeking financial and geographical freedom without having to deal with the pressure of being a public figure on the internet. Best of all, you can seize this opportunity right now for a symbolic price. The complete training is under an exclusive promotion, dropping from $97 to just $17. This is your passport to unlocking the knowledge you need to start your professional journey with AI today. Click the first link in the description to secure your spot while this discount is still active.
Rader was curious about digital technology and asked if a floppy disk could be traced back to him. The investigators lied, telling him the disk was a safe and anonymous way to communicate. Driven by ignorance and supreme confidence, Rader prepared what he thought was a mess. He sent a purple floppy disk to a TV station, believing it would cement his dark legacy forever. Forensic experts pulled metadata from a deleted file that pointed directly to a local church. The name Dennis was embedded in the code, linking the file to the church's main office computer. The digital ghost Rader thought he hid was now a neon sign pointing straight to his front door. The master of security was defeated by a simple file, a mistake born from his own massive ego. Police found Dennis Rader, a man with no record, a veteran, and a respected local official. The final piece was his daughter's DNA, obtained through a warrant at a local medical clinic. The match was perfect. The blood of the Oteros was finally linked to the man with the Bible. The hunt came to an end on a quiet Kansas street as the handcuffs finally closed. Rader confessed with a chilling, matter-of-fact tone, as if explaining a repair to a customer. The monster of Wichita finally had a face, one that had been hiding in plain sight for years. In court, he described his crimes with clinical detachment, showing no remorse for the families. He was sentenced to 10 life terms, ensuring he would never again breathe the air of freedom. The X Factor was caged, but the scars on Wichita's soul would never truly disappear from Earth. He used the courtroom to brag one last time, enjoying the captive audience he had always craved. As he was led away in chains, survivors felt the weight of 30 years of terror begin to lift. But for the families, no amount of prison time could fill the void left by his absolute cruelty. His journals revealed hundreds of other potential victims he had mapped out for future rituals. He spent hours stalking women in stores, waiting for a perfect moment that luckily never came. The scale of his voyeurism showed a mind that never rested from the pursuit of human suffering. Police realized they hadn't just caught a killer, but a man who lived every second for the hunt. Rader's daughter had to rebuild her life, realizing her father was a stranger she never knew. She wondered if his hands were still stained with blood while he had comforted her as a child. The psychological damage he inflicted on his kin was a crime no court could truly punish. Her story is a reminder that the person sitting across from you could be a monster in disguise. Wichita began healing, but the name BTK remained etched in the collective memory of the state. Houses where he committed crimes were sold or demolished to erase the physical traces of his path. The fear planted in the 70s became a permanent part of the city's cultural history. People looked at neighbors differently, searching for the X factor in every polite, helpful smile. The ADT company overhauled its protocols, realizing their equipment had been used against clients. It was a wake-up call for the security industry, proving internal threats are the most devastating. Rader turned the concept of safety into a weapon, proving no lock is strong enough for a ghost. The tragedy forced an era of background checks for those in positions of high public trust. Criminologists use Rader as the primary example of an organized killer with a perfect facade. His ability to compartmentalize his life is still studied as a peak example of psychopathic behavior. He didn't have a type of victim, but a type of opportunity, making his crimes hard to predict. Every lecture on the case ends the same. He could have been anyone, anywhere, at any time. The purple floppy disk is a legendary artifact in the history of digital forensic investigations. It represents the moment where the old-school killer met new technology and lost his long game. Rader's mistake was a result of his arrogance, believing he was smarter than the law's intelligence. That small piece of plastic saved lives by stopping a predator who was just beginning to wake up. Rader's letters are kept in archives, studied by those hoping to prevent the next monster's rise. They show the evolution of a man moving from fantasies to the cold reality of multiple murders. His writing was filled with errors, a stark contrast to the genius he claimed to be to the world. The documents reveal a man desperately lonely for attention, even from his own executioners. The church where he served struggled to reconcile faith with the fact a killer led their group. It sparked deep conversations about how evil can thrive in the most sacred of human spaces. Many members left, unable to sit in pews where a murderer had once distributed the bread. The building stands as a witness that light and darkness can occupy the same room at once. His cell in El Dorado is small, a contrast to the wide plains where he once hunted his prey. He is denied the touch of others, a fitting end for a man who used his hands only for pain. He spends time writing, still trying to influence the world from behind concrete tomb walls. But the world has moved on, leaving him as a relic of a dark era Wichita never wants to revisit. The anniversary of his capture is a grim reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. The detectives who caught him carry the memories of the Otero family with them every single day. They are the true heroes, men who never gave up even when the trail had gone cold for years. Their dedication is what stands between a peaceful society and the chaos that men like Rader crave. The victims' names are honored in memorials, ensuring they are remembered for more than death. Joseph, Julia, Catherine, Shirley, Nancy, Maureen, and Vicky are names the city speaks with respect. The killer is often referred to only by his number 2, strip him of the fame he desired. By focusing on the lives lost, the community reclaims the narrative from the man who stole it. Technology continues to evolve, making it harder for predators to hide their digital footprints. The BTK case was a turning point. Showing the truth eventually finds a way to the light. The metadata on that disk was a message from the future, telling the killer his time was up. It stands as a testament that human ingenuity will always defeat human depravity in the end. The silence in Rader's cell is the only response to the decades of terror he inflicted on others. He has no more letters to write and no more lives to control with his ropes and his lies. He is a prisoner of his own history, locked in a place where his narcissism has no audience. The final chapter of Dennis Rader is isolation, a fitting end for a man who never knew love. The locks on the doors remain, but now they are backed by the watchful eyes of a learned city. Trust is no longer given freely, but earned through years of shared human connection. Rader tried to break Wichita's spirit, but he only succeeded in making it stronger and vigilant. The city is a fortress now, built on the courage of those who stayed and the memory of the lost. Rader's health is failing, a reminder that even the most terrifying monsters are bound by time. He will leave this world as a pariah, a name synonymous with the worst of the human condition. There will be no monuments to his life, only the cold facts of his crimes and his downfall. He will be forgotten by a world that has no more room for his specific brand of madness. What do you think about Dennis Rader's mind and the technological failure that captured him? Comment your opinion below, subscribe to the channel for more dark stories, and leave your like.